Schoolgirl Zombie Hunter is a low-budget gem, released way back in 2017 for the PlayStation 4. Chances are you've never heard of this game, and if you haven't, well, that's too bad, because it's pretty goddamn cool. It's a kick-ass, mission-based, third-person shooter where you must fend off a horde of zombies in a high school. And as you just heard there, that pretty much sums up the premise of the game pretty well. Couldn't have said it better myself. So it's nice that one of the girls will say it in between every loading screen. I love it. So yeah, you've got a variety of firearms. Shotguns, machine guns, sniper rifles. Although I can't think of too many occasions in this game where you'll need the sniper rifle, since most of your battles here are in close quarters. But the option is there if you are interested. You also have sub-weapons, like grenades, that you can lob at the zombies, or potentially blow yourself up like I did just now. That could also happen. You have a dodge roll, you have a little jump, you have a melee attack. Each girl actually has her own unique melee attack. Whether it's a melee weapon or a roundhouse kick, they all have their own unique melee attacks. So there's that. And throughout the game, you can select to play as any one of the other characters. And yeah, each mission is on a timer. You have a limited amount of time to get to your destination. Usually, most of the missions, although there are a few exceptions, involve getting to your destination as quickly as possible and dealing with any zombies you have to along the way. You definitely don't have to worry about ammo in this game, although you do have to reload on occasion. So you do have to be mindful of that as you're running around school. But yeah, each mission tends to be super fast. So this isn't a game that demands hours of your time. You can play it in bite-sized little bursts, and it's perfectly fine. Which is nice, because I feel like a lot of games nowadays don't offer that. You know, these sort of bite-sized mission structures where you're not committed to playing for hour-long stretches if you don't want to. This game definitely has that going for it. As you could probably tell, it's also very campy. This is a very goofy game. It does not take itself that seriously. It's pretty ridiculous. So if you're looking for a serious, actually scary horror game, well, this is not that. You know what? That's perfectly fine. We need more good campy horror games out there that don't take themselves too seriously. And Schoolgirl Zombie Hunter is definitely one of those. Other than maybe Lollipop Chainsaw or Dead Rising, there haven't been too many examples of that in video games these days, so that's definitely a plus for this particular title. Certainly floats my boat. It's got that going for it. But its biggest gimmick, its biggest hook, is obviously just right there in the title. But there's also a mechanic that I want to show off here that you can use to distract the zombies when they're in your way. If you find yourself surrounded and there's just too many zombies, you can also do this. You can throw off your school uniform, and the zombies will leap after it. Because the zombies in this game are pervs. And that's just how it be. And then your chosen waifu will spend the rest of the mission in her underwear. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's good stuff. Again, obviously this is not a game to be taken seriously. Now there is a story here, there is a plot. Although, it's, again, not exactly the most serious thing in the world. But the girls all have distinct personalities, they all have distinct character arcs, they all have stuff that they, you know, reveal over the course of the game. So there is an actual plot, as gimmicky as the game may seem. And you're rewarded with cutscenes in between each mission. So there's definitely a sort of grindhouse charm. That's what I meant to say. Grindhouse. There is a grindhouse charm to this ridiculously silly, very goofy, and very adorable game. But if you need a break from the more serious, more dramatic horror games out there, this is definitely a game I recommend, to say the least. It's also just a fun, arcadey, shoot-'em-up action game. And not only can they throw off their uniforms to distract the zombies, but as you can see in these cutscenes, they will remain that way. So there you go. This game has it all, guys. Uniform will also get torn up and tattered as you take damage from the zombies, so, you know, it's a nice little touch there. Just to add to the fun. There's also unlockable colors for your weapons, unlockable outfits for the different girls. As you can see, one of them there was dressed in a nurse uniform. So there are unlockable outfits, there are unlockable goodies that you can get. Which I can show off here. Decals for your guns. Different outfits and uniforms and such. All kinds of cool stuff like that that you can unlock as you play. And again, nice bite-sized mission-like structure. The missions themselves have a pretty decent amount of variety. Sometimes you'll be accompanied by other characters, sometimes you'll be going solo. There's definitely some good replayability here, including side missions you can do. The only real criticism I could lobby at this game really is that the scenery doesn't change too much. I mean, you are fighting around a school, so I guess you could argue the setting doesn't change a whole lot over the course of the game. That can get, I guess, a little bit samey. But it's still utilized well enough. And again, the missions tend to be super short. The game is very fast-paced. And overall, I'd say its simplicity and its stripped-down nature is kind of to its credit. This is a game that, you know, does one thing and does it really well. Gives you a bunch of short little missions filled with zombies and objectives. And some fun fan service on the side. What more could you ask for, really? So yeah, this game's pretty cheap now on PlayStation Store. You can get it pretty cheap. And it is playable on PlayStation 5. I'm actually streaming this off of PlayStation 5 right now. And October is right around the corner, so you might as well check it out. Might as well get in on the zombie killing fun. There's also a decent variety of zombies in the game. It's not just these dudes. Some of them crawl along on the ground. There's big fat ones with giant butcher knives. And all that fun stuff. So like you get a decent amount of enemy variety. There are bosses in the game. None of it's super complex. And obviously graphically this game is not exactly mind-blowing. It is a low-budget game. So the graphics are not exactly like, you know, pushing the envelope in any way. But it gets the job done. Everything looks pretty slick. The girls especially look, you know, they look pretty nice. So, yeah, lots of blood burst everywhere. As you shoot up the zombies, it's nice, crunchy, and satisfying. The shooting in general feels pretty good, and the controls are pretty snappy once you get the hang of them. So it just feels good to play. Yeah, I definitely recommend Schoolgirl Zombie Hunter. Check it out now. It might surprise you. Hell yeah. Till next time, live for the passion.